Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is going to be a huge recap here. What do we got? Episode 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's start with number 2. Sweet Dreams Are Made of D, or Sweet Dreams Are Made of D. Remember that fucking cover by Marilyn Manson? Yeah. Alright, let's get into the mission. Oh my god, well, this is going way the fuck back. This is like this isn't nostalgia, but it's like, god, this was a long time ago because time has been moving so fucking slowly in these quarantine times. Okay, so let's try and go back to airdrop extraction. It says that Corey D and Swaggy C won. Oh, okay, I remember this. So this is where they had to do a physical thing. They had to carry all these boxes or bomb cases, caskets. I don't know what they were. And then after that, the top 3 teams, fastest, then they got to fly in the fucking airplane. Or was it a helicopter or an airplane? I don't remember. Fuck. It was so long ago. But the point is that this is cool. Like, these missions are very inventive. They're very reminiscent of the old seasons when it was real world versus road rules, and I love it. And you know, it sucks that I'm 4 episodes behind, because I really have enjoyed the season. So okay, so Corey D and Swaggy C win. I know Swaggy C is gonna win a lot this fucking season. Holy shit. Or at least make it into that tribunal. But we're not gonna see too much power moves, really. I don't think it's really dawned on him to go in. And I have a theory about that. Man, if we could just jump around throughout all this stuff, now that I'm thinking about it right now. Okay, for instance, we're jumping into what episode it was when Jay defeats CT and he gets a second skull. Now, that was really interesting to me because I'm like, why give him a second skull? That doesn't make any sense unless he's able to give away a skull to someone he wants to be in the final against. You know, that's fucked up. And then I had the theory that what if, again, we're jumping up some episodes in episode 5 when he gets body slammed by Rogan. What if Jay isn't able to continue and he loses? Or he's able to continue, but he loses. Does Rogan get a red skull, or does he get Jay's red skull? In fact, both of his red skulls. Wouldn't that be interesting? Like, that could be a sweet twist. It would also put a huge target on Rogan's back for sure, because then everyone will be like, wait, okay, hold on. So Rogan now has 2 red skulls, and, you know, like, eventually, I really wish episode 5 didn't end on a stupid cliffhanger, so then we could see what would happen. And also, why cliffhangers again? The fucking this season has had 3 million views. You know, that's not very common for an episode to break 1 million people and shit like that. And it's done it 3 times this season. Why? Because people are stuck inside. The point is that if people are stuck inside and they're watching, they're gonna watch next episode. You don't have to leave on a goddamn cliffhanger. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so needless. Oh my god, why would they do that? I mean, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. Either Jay is gonna be like, oh god, I'm fucked up, and then he's gonna leave, or he'll continue and then beat Rogan. I mean, do we care enough about between the two? I mean, about Rogan and shit? I don't know. Anyways, holy shit. Going back to airdrop extraction. Corey D and Swaggy C win. Okay, so again, this was, I think, Corey was the guy in the helicopter. He had to time it while D and Swaggy C, they tossed the quote-unquote bombs, the missiles, the torpedoes. I guess you only drop bombs. You don't drop torpedoes, right? Torpedoes get shot specifically. Um, but I really liked it. I like it looked amazing. It looked fun to do, and that's the other thing. Like the physicality part, especially when they're just like loading up those boxes or crates or whatever it was. I don't care. Like there's so many strength based challenges you could watch when you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, strength. It's tough. It's heavy. This guy works out more, so he's gonna be able to carry more. Blah blah blah. But with these other things, it's communication of teamwork. It's fucking deciphering shit. There's gonna be a lot of like puzzles and shit, but like creative puzzles and codes and stuff. Not in this episode, but throughout the season. Which I feel like I just want to talk about those episodes without having to break it down piece by piece. I mean, I have 4 index cards here, and already I'm like, oh god, this is boring. The monotony. But I haven't recorded or recapped in apparently 4 episodes. So it's been a month. I would do great in that little math challenge with the car and the hanging out on the side of his best friend's rad, Scrubs. That bombs. What was it? Bomb Squad mission. Yeah. Oh, fuck. All right, going back to. No, let's go on to the nominee, goddammit. Okay, so the nominees is, holy shit, Jen. Okay, so going into this, I was like, oh my god, Jen is very pretty, but her eyes are like super black, And I was like, she's like a alien being. I swear to God. I was like, she's a fucking alien. And then what happens when Bananas and Wes convince her to create this speech? She opens up on her own with greetings Earthlings, and I was like, holy shit, that's confirmation right there. That's like the Pentagon saying like, yeah, those UFO videos that Blink 182 guy released years ago, we're acknowledging that those are indeed UFOs. So I'm like, okay, so there's fucking, unidentified flying object is exactly that. That's not saying they're alien spaceships. But what I'm saying is, I saw Jen. I was like, why not? Aliens are among us. That's fine. She's, what are the 3 types of aliens? The tall whites, right? The lizards, and then the typical ones you hear about, the short cute ones. What are they called? Fuck. Oh, the Greys. Okay, so the Greys, the tall whites, and the lizard people. Where's Jen and all that? I don't know. But I was definitely like, man, that chick's an alien. And she's so fucking pretty. But it doesn't matter. It's a death sentence. Rogan said it to her where he's like, listen, you're a rookie and you're hot. And that wasn't just him flirting with her. That was also true, So it's great that you could flirt with someone when you're just making the rules, the laws of the land obvious. And be able to flirt. Let's see what else. Okay, so during the house shit, there's a thing, though, that's kind of cool. I mean, funny, interesting, whatever. Quirky. Tori and Dee have this talk, but they go inside these lockers in the hallway. So it's like a little confessional booth and stuff. And it's so awesome. I love this little scene. But what's actually happening is that Tori's like, hey, listen, we worked with you. Like, you didn't, like she's really kind of laying it on thick where she's like, hey, Jordan and I are pissed because, you're talking like how you shook Jenny's hand. But we got you that $250, that $250,000 last season and shit. And for me, I'm like, I don't know if I would have identified them as my teammates because, for one, Team UK was mostly Rogan and Dee anyways the entire season, and then Jordan and Tori, they're the ones that turncoated and came over to their team near the end, So I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't a good look. I think overall, Tori is definitely what would you call it? Kind of throwing her weight around? No, I don't know. her and Jordan together this season isn't the best look. I'm surprised more people aren't getting annoyed by it, but anyways, Tribunal. Okay, so Jenny and Tori and Big T are brought in. I don't remember what Jenny said. I think she just straight up like, "Hey, I want to go in," and I think that's why she goes in because Dee was like, "Hey, I'm gonna fucking send you in," and then Tori again is like, "Hey, fucking send me in. Without me, you never would have got like all this shit, right?" Very, yeah. That just I don't know. Tori's already walking around with that veteran like sense of entitlement, I guess. I don't know. Like, it kind of reminds me of like when Leroy would be brought into a tribunal of sorts and to be interviewed. He's like, why the fuck? Why am I here? Like, it's like it's beyond him and shit like that. So, but this is a different scenario. Tori's like, put me in, motherfucker. Like, But D makes it clear, and everyone else in that tribunal are like, holy shit, Tori, what the fuck? Okay, and then Big T, all I have to say about her is I fucking love the fucking shave, not the shave, but the short haircut. Fucking awesome. Like, it's crazy. It's almost like the reverse of some nerdy, quote unquote, nerdy girl with glasses takes them off and suddenly she's hot. As soon as Big T took off the wig or whatever, I was like, oh my gosh, Big T, big thumbs up for you. Like I don't know. Now I'm just like always like whenever she's around on screen, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Big T. It's the weirdest thing, but quarantine is the weirdest thing, and new things will grab your attention. Okay, elimination. Flip the switch. Jenny defeats Jen. Oh yeah, Jen on Jen action here. Okay, so the big twist is that Dee had a chance to volunteer, and this was the part where I'm like, okay, good, this makes sense, because why would you want to win a mission when overall you want to go in, and so this saves it. I'm glad that if you win a mission, then you can volunteer to go in. Now, a lot of people were like, because Dee and Jen don't get along. And so everyone was like, Dee, get in there. And she's like, well, A, I'm not prepared mentally. And B, I told Jenny that she is going in so she can get her red skull. Like, we're each other's number ones. So, and even though, like, Jen probably is the easiest person to beat, it's not her fault. She's new to this world, this planet. But I respected Dee's decision. I think that was the grown-up decision to fucking say, no, I told Jenny I'm going to put her in. It does suck that I do hate Jen, and she's super, physically inept. And by physically, I mean, like, strength. Yeah. Physically, she looks damn fine. I would let her probe. Never thought about that. Oh my gosh. Maybe she's not one of those aliens. Maybe she's got a glowing finger and she'll heal my emotional wounds. All right. So, anyways, Jenny like, what is this? There's like weights, and you gotta throw them above your head, and because like they're on a swing, so they have to go all the way over, and that's all it is. I don't know. It kind of sucked, like I feel like they should have left that for someone, for two people that are very close. They should have gave Jen and Jenny maybe that one with the puzzle where it was Ashley versus Dee. They had to like crackpot theories about aliens, and then they had to like organize the seasons in order and shit. That would at least been more on the same scale of what they could possibly do against each other. So yeah, Jen is a weakling in terms of her physical attributes. Strength, mostly. Not inner strength, Jen. I'm not saying that. Um, but yeah, it was just like, oh, it's kind of boring now. You don't want to see this Jenny versus Jen. I would actually then prefer D versus Jen, because then it's like, I know D is going to be stronger than Jen, but at least then you have the physical, emotional payout of like, fuck you, stay away from my Rogan bear. Rogan bear. Oh my god, my Rogan stripper douchebag guy. Who they're not even together. Oh my god. All right, whatever. So, anyways, Jenny gets a red skull. And we're on to episode 3. Episode 3, A Hard Day's Night. Now, I sang the last title, but I'm not going to do this one, even though I love the Beatles. It's been a hard day's night. Sort of like singing, but let's see here. Mission, decode and detonate. CT and Bailey win. Yeah, man, this was cool. I like, oh man, this was fun. You got to memorize a code, and then there's 2 keys like spread out throughout this giant mine, not mine, like a gravel pit of sorts. This giant mining facility or pit, whatever. So either one, like any guy, any girl, anyone, the first 2 people to solve this and then go press the button get to explode these trucks, and it's fucking awesome. And CT gets it. He, like, years ago when he was playing Rivals 2, he's like, who's the puzzle master? I mean, CT has always put on a good strong case that it's him. So he gets to blow up the truck, and of course he's like, you gotta fucking walk away when it's fucking blowing up, like a fucking movie. And that's what he does. And it's so good. And again, jumping around throughout the season overall, I got really fucking sad when he gets eliminated. I was like, he is so fucking, man. He won like a great mission, looked great, had these great scenes and shit. And it really sucked that he fucking leaves, There's been some slight pushback maybe recently with him, especially with his performance, where he just kind of laid back a little bit in War of the Worlds 2, and then went on to win. And maybe some people are like, fucking CT, you're just you're dad bod, you rest on your laurels and shit. He's like, not since Rivals 1 did I rest on laurels. And we didn't get a lot of rest. Mm-hmm. Remember they hooked up in Rivals 1? It's fucking nuts, man. Like that, there's not even a registration between the two. And they've been on plenty of seasons with each other since then, a few at least. And yeah, there's no like, oh yeah, we had a time once. Fuck. All right, so, but Bailey though, let's talk about her. She fucking gets it. That's awesome. At this point, I don't know her, but I know that she's with Swaggy C. So CT is like, okay, well, what's going on here? And eventually she's like, I want Swaggy C in, and he actually doesn't want to go in. He wants to be safe. I don't want to run the risk of him getting voted into the mob vote. And it was interesting that CT took her not super far away from the group to talk, but they just kind of stepped in front of them really close and had this conversation. And I was like, man, that's crazy, because it's not like they have to hide anything, but the fact that they aren't makes it cool. Like CT is like really kind of also demonstrating his ability to work the political angles, the mental game. The fact that he's making this breakdown right in front of people so they could be like, oh my God, CT, you have it still, it never left. Okay, let's talk about the house. Bananas versus Ashley. Oh my gosh. Well, going back to these fucking episodes, it's tough to just talk about again. I'm like, oh God, boring. I already know what happens. All right, so anyways, Bananas versus Ashley. I think this is where Bananas is like, hey, she's a fucking shapeshifter. And also, so am I. I don't know. They just clash. Bananas starts, I guess this is him campaigning against her, I suppose. let's get into the nominees. So this is where Ashley does try and get bananas in. Nelson randomly gets called in, but ultimately it's Jay again. The bar. Dee makes up with Jay. Oh, and this is like really uber obvious. It's just because she's trying to make Rogan jealous. Because even though Jen is gone and Rogan and Jen never actually did anything, holy shit, Dee is still embarking on a thing. Like it's not quite the levels of Cara Maria and Kyle, but it's somewhat there, where it's like, dude, you guys, like, stop trying to pretend that you, like, I mean, it's annoying. And just, in general, Dee doing this is the death kiss for Jay. There's no reason to do this. Even Jay was like, okay, I get it. You're just trying to get him jealous. And that's just going to kind of screw my game up. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to. It's just like, oh, why not? Come on. It's a terrible D impression, but that is, like, Jay literally said, was like, hey, this is going to cost me. He's going to come after me in a big way. And holy shit, he might have been eliminated by Rogan. Well, we don't know because stupid ass cliffhanger. All right, so Tribunal. All right, they're bringing Rogan, Nelson, and Bear. It's kind of inconsequential because CT's gonna volunteer, but Rogan goes in because he wants to go against Jay. Nelson is brought in because the random votes by some of the girls. That was a weird part because Kayla was like, hey man, I heard that it's going to be bananas. And Nelson's like, really? But then later on, Kayla, during the nominees, like, Nelson, you fucking idiot. I was just trying to be nice, you cocksucker. I don't know what she doesn't say that, but she does. It's that part where when Kayla loses her patience, not even patience, just when she gets mad at someone, when she disagrees, oh God, I can't stand her. Like, she looks beautiful. They all do. Everyone looks great on the show. But I'm like, oh, I do not want to be around this person. Like, uber bitch. And I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. It's just, I don't know. Like, I've known people like this. I mean, I had a friend for the longest time. She was hot. And, of course she was, because I keep a good company. A good counsel, if you will. But, God damn it. Like, eventually she, for, God, wow, this is very personal. But eventually she would have these fits of just like getting mad, and like just the older, like, I knew her for a long time, but just the older she got, she would just have this short temper. It was really fucking weird. And after a while, I was like, I don't want to be around this shit. This is like, this doesn't. The titties aren't worth the the hindrance. Yeah. All right. Next, elimination. This is crazy. This is Take Shelter, where they gotta fucking, put shit on a door for 20 minutes, and then they switch, and then they have to get through all that ropes and rocks and get inside first. And this is the part where CT is crazy, man. Like going into this, you could tell he was kind of worried. He's like, I don't know what this is. Like, it was a telling. It was a very. It was crazy because CT is a veteran for sure, right? He's played this for years. He knows the dangers of elimination. Like I think he's technically now. I think he's 4-5, 4 wins, 5 losses. So he knows how dicey these things could be, even if it's physical and shit. Like, the whole idea is to stay out of there. But he's like, okay, I'm going in. And what happens here, I think, is CT spends a lot of time on just the rope, or the chain, I guess. There was a bunch, ropes and chains. And he later said he like, I should have tied up those loose ends, literally. And yeah, but then Jay, he's moving shit in the way. But I think the key move here for Jay was tying the chains and the ropes throughout the cement blocks. And because CT, instead of untying that, he's just like, okay, I'm going to lift this cement block and smash him apart instead. Which is smart, but costly if it doesn't work quite right. Because what happens, there's a couple of shots where there's a cement block and, they have the two holes, right? So he lifts up one cement block to hit the other cement block, and it smashes, but not the hole that the chain was actually through. So it's still a big chunk of the entanglement, the obstacle. So, oh man, it was crazy. And then Jay, I don't know, I think it did come down to CT. Like, I don't know, maybe he just didn't tie him off right or whatever. Like, but Jay's knots were superior knots. And so Jay gets in there. CT is defeated. Jay gets a second Red Skull. Why not just the one? I already made my theory about that. I think he can give those skulls away eventually, or get taken away from him if Rogan does get the win in episode 6. Okay, so after this happened, I really like the fact that Jay was all just like, dude, this is fucking awesome, man. CT's a goddamn legend, and if I could defeat him, like, that's huge. And he's right. There's certain people in this game that it's like a huge, what would you call it? A trophy, I guess, Wes comes to mind, CT, Laurel, like these are very, fucking Car Maria, it's very tough to eliminate these people. And they're also, legends in the fucking history books. Okay, so Jay, though, this sucks too, because now that I know that he could possibly be out and he's squished like a bug. But I did remember writing this down. Another Survivor? Is this the new Turbo? Like, some about these Survivor people are hardcore. I mean, obviously, because they have to rough it out for however long it is and be mentally strong. And, there's physical tests. And I don't know. I haven't seen Survivor in a long time, but I used to watch it. And, so yeah, that's why I'm like, after a while, I'm like, fuck, man, Jay, Turbo, they're from that certain neighborhood, that certain background, which is something to not take lightly. Okay, let's get into episode 4, Karma Chameleon. It's actually just Karma Chameleon, and this is what? Is it Boy George? Did Boy George sing Karma Chameleon? Not sure. Okay, so let's get into Mission Cold War, where Anissa, Bananas, Bear, Casey, and Big T win. What the fuck was Cold War? Oh, okay. All right. So this was when 2 people don't dive into the cold water. No, that's not how you explain it. Okay, so 3 people dive into the cold water, and they have to unlock carabiners, I think, because there's these giant puzzle pieces, and they have to bring them out and then put them together. Meanwhile, you have 2 opposing opponents way up high, using valuable arm strength to chip away at giant blocks of ice so that the water will get colder. I'm trying to remember certain things, because I only have like very skeletal notes about these episodes, but I do remember Tori saying like, "Hey, you there?" Was it D maybe? She's like, "Don't chop when they're going, because it's just going to be colder when it's our turn." And I was like, "Oh, that is smart." The whole ice thing, I don't know. It was weird. What was the one thing? I also remember Jordan being like, "I actually want Tori to win, so I'm not actually chopping I said all. And Swaggy C, meanwhile, is working with Jordan. He's like, man, we got it all narrowed down. Like, he knows how to swing a hammer, so I just fucking, we get a system, man, and I just throw the ice down. Kind of sucks, because Jordan's like, I'm not trying to win. Oh. If we're gonna, this is the moment where I jump throughout the season and shit. Jordan, I don't know. There's something about him that just does not sit well with me. He does a lot of things right, but there are certain things about him that I'm just like, I'm not into it, buddy. I don't know. I think, of course, he's physically talented, missions, finals we've seen, eliminations. But when it comes to his confessional work, I think it's a little too God, what the fuck would you call it? I don't know. It doesn't come off as naturalistic. It's like he thinks these words that he's saying. Oh, okay. See, that's kind of like how he says it. He's like, so intermittent fasting. I just see a letter that says intermittent fasting for me, and I decide to use it. But I don't know. But what he's saying isn't that mind-boggling. I feel like he thinks he's way smarter than everyone else, which is fine, which might be the case. But I just think his confessional work, when he's talking and he's laying things out as if it's significant, it really isn't. It's just him with a cadence. That's all it is. So he's going to do a couple of these things, and I don't know. I guess I just had to get that off my chest. All right. House. Ashley versus Maddie. Ashley. Oh, okay. So for a second there, Maddie and Ashley were like good friends or whatever. Like they were like, hey, we should probably work together, because aren't they both kind of like Southern belles? But immediately during a thing, this is when Bear, in an effort to get with Kayla, decides to put white foamy fire extinguisher over everyone in this one room. And Kayla's like slowly getting, weakened by his efforts, by his seductive ways. But she's slowly getting wooed. She's like, oh my God, he's, annoying, but like, at least he's trying. At least it's funny and shit like that, Like, I don't know. Immediately I was like, this is gonna fucking happen. The next episode is called Break Up With Your Boyfriend because I'm bored, bitch. I just knew it was going to happen. I don't know, Kayla, whatever. Okay. Okay. So during that whole thing, I think, Ashley spit on Bear. And the girls were like, hey, man, that's not right. And even Maddie, was it Maddie? Yeah, Maddie was like, hey, that's not cool, bro. And Ash was like, yeah, well, why don't you get another DWI again, or DUI, whatever it was, or a OWI. And that was really just like, I just told you about that shit in confidence, and you got to bring that. No, it wasn't. Was it? I don't know. But they were just trying to be friends, and Ashley just fucking pops off and shit. And that eventually gets her the nomination. We'll go into nomination, and it's Ashley. Not too much to go in there. I think they're all just like, hey, man, you're kind of shitty and to people, and a lot of people can't trust you. I mean, no one can trust Bananas, but Bananas stated clearly, like, no one can really trust you at all. Like, there's people that you really, really can't trust that are like notorious flip-floppers and whatever. And that's like Ashley, Kyle, and Anissa, I would say. Okay, so Tribunal. Maddie is brought in, D is brought in, Tori's brought in. What the fuck happened here? I don't remember. I think Maddie's like, I'll fucking take out Ashley. I don't give a shit, I think. I mean, I think that's what she said. I think she was pretty just like, no, I know I will. I think D said put me in. I think that everyone wants to go in. Tori wants to go in. I do remember, though, Tori kind of bossing. Wait, no. No, it wasn't. No, it was the other way, right? Wasn't it like, yeah. It was Anissa, Casey, Big T. Yeah, because Bananas and Bear are there. That's right, because Bananas tells Big T, like, hey, you should start cutting deals and shit. And that's where Big T is, like, drunk on power and shit. And that's when they're really kind of, like, saying shit, trying to maybe intimidate Maddie and Tori, something like that. It was weird. Yeah, Big T. Yeah, she's cute and all. I mean, cuter than I ever saw her to be before. But now she's getting drunk on power, and the drunk she is, the better I look. That's not even an original joke. That's a American Dad joke. Moving on to what's next. Elimination. Codebreaker, where D defeats Ashley. Okay, so this was interesting. I mean, I don't like the randomness of, like, you know, smash these pots and maybe something's there that you need. But there's the added element of, like, having to roll that giant block or giant dice or whatever, jump on there, crack a pot, and then you gotta align the seasons in chronological order. And this is crazy because D's like, you know, the challenge doesn't air in Australia. I was like, oh shit. How did you know about where did D come from? She's not Survivor. Was she Big Brother? Where is she from? I don't remember anymore. Yeah, because, like, how would you get? Yeah, she's definitely from another show. Because otherwise, like, why would they cast her in a show she doesn't even know about? Okay, so Codebreaker. Okay, so this was a bit controversial, I guess. I mean, puzzles shouldn't be allowed in public eliminations, anyways. I've said this before, because people can help and people can hurt you in these situations. Fortunately, D gets help from Wes, and she gets the win. And D gets the skull. Ashley's out of there. And it's weird. I don't know. Ashley's earned my respect in terms of, like, her brutal gameplay and all that. But I'm okay with her going. Between her and D, I'd rather have D here. D might be, like, my new thing in terms of, like, she could possibly win a second time. You know, like, I just feel like she has that momentum. She has that confidence, which, again, I guess some people, fans, I'm saying, were like, I don't fucking like her attitude and shit. I'm like, you gotta, sometimes that attitude, that positivity, that, I guess, that self-confidence really helps in these situations, you know, because if you don't have it, you're just naughty the whole time. All right. Okay. So moving on to episode 5, break up with your boyfriend. I'm bored. The mission is bomb squad. More detonations and shit. There's more explosions. It's crazy. Won by Swaggy C, Josh. Swaggy C again, goddammit. Casey and Jenny. I just remember this is cool because, like, you're on that car, like a stunt driver, and it's sideways, and you have to get up and you have to, like, walkie-talkie the numbers so that the other guy can put those numbers together, figure out the equation, run over to the guy, and there's these poles color-coded to the number. And then they run those codes to the last person. They take those codes, put them in that order, so that into this booth box thing, so that an explosion will happen, like a good, like, fucking 12 feet away, something like that. It seemed very fucking close. I just remember wondering, after it was all said and done, I was like, can people see the color rods that they're running with? After a while, couldn't you just figure out, oh, that's the answer. Those numbers are the answer. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to go back, production, they're not going to go back and put those colors, move them around. They're going to take those same colors and place them there. right? Place them back on the color grid or whatever. I don't know. That's how I saw it. So after a while, I was like, oh my god, just look at the colors that they're using. Like, get in the car and say, like, okay, who gives a shit? Pick I did know the colors. It was like brown, blue, and green. I think those were the three colors that were the answer, which was 219. So yeah, that would have been an interesting way to do it. There were some mess ups there where they messed up the numbers. They couldn't see them and shit. But that was a funny moment where Corey, it sucked too. I don't know how this communication was broke down, but where he gets the numbers and he gets the explosion, but he's just kind of like, what do I do and shit. And finally they're like, no, put him in the thing, that booth or whatever. Put it in there. And he's like, okay. He puts it in there, and then there's an explosion right there, right fucking there, right? And afterwards, he was like telling the group, he's like, I thought the explosion was going to be an after effect. They were going to put like a post-production explosion like a mile away. And it was like some of the funniest shit. Like, that was like a real fucking thing. Like, I don't know, just someone being funny. Just like saying, like, for real, I didn't know what was going to happen. And so I'm kind of curious, were they the first ones to do it? Because they had to have seen the explosion, no? It looked like all the people that weren't participating was right across the street, in a sense, from the explosion and the road. They were on the other side of the road. So all those people were able to see Corey not putting the colors in the right spot and shit like that. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. But that's all that popped up in my mind. Okay, the house, Wes versus Jordan. Oh, right. Okay, so Jordan, being the bossy, obnoxious person that he is, this uber alpha male dude, like, him and Wes clash over the turf being ruffled up. And Jordan has the fucking giant, 3-foot long sausage in his face the whole time, which is just obnoxious. I mean, like, I don't know. It is funny when he slams it on the table to make a point. But when Wes comes, he's like, you will not talk to me the way you talk to other people. You will show me some respect. I'm not your wife. And that is when Wes should have took the sausage and took a bite off the tip or something and spit it out on Jordan's face. I don't know. Like, that would I love that little interaction between the two. Okay, so the other thing that I've written down is that Bear and Kayla get together. Big whoop-de fucking do. Like, I don't know. Who cares? I mean, I'm trying to think why I would care. I know that Jenna tried to say, like, hey, Kayla, I'm like being upfront, real with you. Like, this, you shouldn't be hanging out with him. You should tell him straight up, like, hey, I'm not interested in shit, or stop doing this. But no, I mean, she's gonna cheat on him with Bear. Cheat on her boyfriend with Bear. I can't really think of anything else to say about that. So moving on to nominations, it's Jay once again. Jay is more visibly upset. Yeah, that's it. Tribunal is, what is it? Rogan, Nelson, and Wes are brought in. And Rogan is just like straight up like, I want to go against Jay. I want to, he took out CT and he made out with D. So I liked it because it was both true. People were saying like, oh man, he's trying to say like, oh, I don't like him because he's got a red skull and he took out CT. They really are. He's just jealous because D made out with him. And the fact that Rogan threw that out in the end, I was like, that's kind of charming, Nelson, he's brought in. I don't know why. I guess Nelson is just going to get brought in a lot. Like, I think eventually he'll be one of the next ones to go in. especially if Jay's gone. I have a feeling. I can't think of anyone else because Swaggy C has been in a lot of tribunals, and he might continue to be in there. I don't know. I think it's Nelson. I think Nelson is next. Nelson, I think he just says, he's like, they're like, hey, Nelson, you're here because we don't really talk to you. And Nelson's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. But Corey's like my number one. So whoever Corey's cool with, I'm cool with by default or whatever. But then he's like, I would throw in Wes because like he's a snake, man, or something like that. So they bring in Wes, and I side with Wes on this one where he's like, Josh is obsessed with me, and he straight up says that he's like, Josh, stop trying to make this a thing. This isn't a thing. I am not gonna come after you. You can come after me all you want, but I am trying to go against the worst people in the final. And you're one of the worst. You are the worst. I want to go against you in a final. And I just loved all this. I mean, Josh at least tries. I do like Josh overall, but he is a bit clumsy and a little obvious. I don't think there is a thing between him and Wes. And that's the other thing. He's like, it's always gonna be you and me, Wes. Like he really is trying to maybe get that Rivals 4 partnership, It's like, oh my gosh, please give me Wes. Okay, elimination is called, it's not balls in. If the ball's on fire, it's called fireballs. Jay versus Rogan. Put in Rogan. Fucking, it's so disturbing how Rogan's like, oh my god, I gotta hurt another human being. My pride. Fucking takes, Jay. He has the flaming fireball. He takes him, grabs him, and body slams him out of the zone, out of the DQ zone or whatever. And Jay's not coming up. He's wheezing. He looks like his arm's fucked up. He might have got the wind knocked out of him. I'm not sure, but it's to be continued. I don't know. I still don't fully like Rogan. I think there's a lot of cool shit that he's done or he's involved in or what he said, but for the most part, I don't like him. And I think this really didn't help because I like Jay. Jay's a cool guy. He's a fucking straight up kid. He's smart. He's funny. He's not. He's willing to square off with Rogan, saying like, "You're fucking scared, bro," and shit like that. And this was in the bedroom before it even went down, where Rogan's like, yeah, man, if it's physical, I'm gonna go against you. And Jay's like, why only if it's physical? It's like, what, you don't think you could outsmart me, and shit like that. I don't know. I really like Jay. He could be the future Turbo. I hope he gets up, and I hope he's able to come back and take out Rogan. But I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll fucking see. One thing that I've written down overall is every other season is awesome. And I only use War of the Worlds 1, skip War of the Worlds 2, and now back onto this season. Only those two as examples, really. War of the Worlds 1, it had a great setting. That was the desert. And the missions were fucking well thought out and inventive and shit. And the eliminations, the political strategy, the patterns and shit. Like, it was all well put together. And then since they make 2 seasons a year, the next season after that, War of the Worlds 2, was a significant drop off. There was like almost nothing inspiring about it. There was really nothing to set it apart from other seasons, really, And now with this one, Total Madness, it's again really great. It's got a great setting. It's got these great missions, these great elimination designs and cast voting designs and shit like that. I think that this is like every other season. Maybe they should just make one season a year. And I could already hear people like, "Fuck you." Like, we happen to be spoiled that we get 2 seasons a fucking year. Fuck off, Vince. I know that you don't like the show anymore. I'm like, no, I do like the show. I'm just saying, like, look at this. Look at the fucking. Look at how inspired this fucking season is, you know? Maybe they should. Okay, imagine that, though. 1 season per year. And you really put in all your best effort into that 1 season, right? Because 2 seasons a year, man, like that's like I don't know, Woody Allen releasing a movie a year. That's what he does, and they can't all be gems, you know. And that's what happens if you're just like constantly putting out material. I don't know. I mean, there's people that can do it. Like South Park comes to mind. Um, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but either way, though, this might actually happen because season 36 is postponed. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just not happening because of COVID-19. So I don't know. We might be in. We might be in. Fuck. Why can't I speak? Next season, when that comes, when season 36 is given the green light, it might be just this fantastic creative design. You know, maybe one of the best seasons ever. Just because producers have the time to really flesh things out. So I'm really hopeful. I like this season, and even though season 36 is not happening, it might be a while before we ever get that back. It's going to be great when it does come back because this is great. Every other season, it's like the rule of the Star Trek movies, right? Every other Star Trek, is that what they said? It was like only the even numbered ones. They're like, motion picture, boo. Wrath of Khan, yeah. Search for Spock, boo. Although I like Search for Spock. Star Trek, the Voyage Home, yeah. What was after that? Undiscovered... No. What's after that? Fuck! I don't know. That's where they try and find God in space or something. Why would God need a spaceship? I don't know. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm so sorry this has been so late, but like, you know, I got some things going on, and hopefully we could keep it going next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.